mentioned, the episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be. There will be spoilers for everything Alien. You know, if it's live action and Alien, I might spoil it in this video, up to and including this episode. Yeah, another episode I absolutely loved. Holy crap. Yeah, I already mentioned in earlier videos. Yeah, Noah, holy crap. Just incredible talent. Loved Legion, and I'm loving this as well. Okay, I think let's, so some overall... Actually, never mind. I'm gonna go directly into the chronological, yeah, we see that they did eventually acknowledge Wendy there on the floor, and they took away her hearing, and now they're giving it back to her and testing if she can still, you know, yeah, like letting her get accustomed to the high pitched noise that apparently alien language, yeah, you know, if you have to be able to tolerate a very yeah, very high pitch of like noise, and you know, if you're unfamiliar, it sounds like just essentially like nonsense. You can't really make out any kind of, you know, coherent anything from it if you're not accustomed to it. So not unlike conservative talk radio. And the yeah, I am really loving Joe in this episode. You know, I never didn't love him, but up until this point, you know, before this episode, he was like, you know, knight in shining armor, and I cared mostly about him as far yeah, I cared mostly about him as far as he related to Wendy. And you know, I prefer characters who get a little bit of like kind of on their own kind of thing. Although I don't know. Maybe it was just that he didn't get to make very many active decisions. I think that's, thinking about it, that's probably, and here he does. You know, well, I mean, they're under duress, but he is expressing who he is beyond just like wants to save people, wants to be a doctor, Mrs. Wendy, you know. I did really love when, you know, he and Wendy met, and he, you know, yeah. Right, I if you're not already, you should be watching Jesse Gender and Break Room of Geeks, I think is the channel name. You know, the Vera, it's Vera of Council of Geeks, I think is her main channel. I, for some reason, I can never remember the secondary channel, but yeah, I believe that is the channel name. But yeah, both of them really great, and they're not just for their videos on this show. And yeah, I believe it was Vera who noted, by the end of the third episode, basically, we've gone through, like, you know, aliens, kind of, you know, and now we're in uncharted territory, and that's very interesting. And yeah, I think what they're doing so far in the uncharted territory is very interesting. I genuinely don't know exactly how they're going to end this. I mean, okay, I have an idea or two because it's technically a prequel, so essentially they can't, like, hypothetically, if it I don't know. It's if you've watched the other movies, you know that there's certain things they can't really do on this show unless they just say, well, it's not really canon anymore. It's just a story that hypothetically could take place within that universe, which I would be okay with. But beyond that, there's so many different things that could happen, and yeah, I am deeply I can hardly wait. Holy crap. It's these days I don't watch as much stuff where I have to wait an entire week between two episodes. Um, but it's good. Patience. It's not just a it's not just a virtue, it's a necessity at this point. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, I really appreciated, this thing of like he's trying to basically he thinks of it as arguing for Wendy's autonomy, but to her it feels a little bit like he's speaking for her, which like, she feels like she's ready to make decisions on her own. And it's that sibling thing, sometimes your older siblings think that you're not ready when you are. And really, like, whether or not she's ready, ultimately, she knows that better than anyone because nobody else fully understands her. Of course, and I will also say, so yeah, in my videos on the first 3 episodes, I talk about the autism spectrum coding of Wendy and the Lost Boys. Which, again, I say with love, not criticism of people on the autistic spectrum or the show for having such characters. So far, I think it's really good representation. They feel very humanized, which a lot of media does not do that. Um, I've encountered a couple dozen people that were for sure on the autism spectrum in my life, and many of them are absolutely wonderful people. But yeah. So as shorthand, anytime I say something is coded, if I don't specify any other kind of coding, I'm talking about autism spectrum coding. Yeah, there's some coding going on there with, yeah, she wants to get to be part of regular things. She doesn't want to be limited. Um, and, boy Cavalier. I hope that the actor is like a wonderful person that just likes playing, terrible people sometimes. There are plenty of actors who are exactly like that. I hope he's nothing like his character because my God, fuck this asshole. Like, he is the biggest piece of shit that this franchise has seen in a while. And that's saying something. Jesus Christ. That's high praise for the show. He's supposed to be that. He is like, this. He is one of these tech bro, tech trillionaire, and in real life it's more billionaire kind of, yeah, just immature, and just he wants what he wants when he wants it, and nothing is going to stand in his way kind of. And they're just nailing that, like in the writing and the performance, just spot on. Oh my God, when he was talking about like, oh no, it's just, yeah. It is an extremely interesting idea that she can communicate with xenomorphs. There at the end, she's definitely getting through to that little thing. Jesus Christ. I do appreciate, from a scientific point of view, yes, it is like potential boon that they have an individual that can speak Xeno. Yeah, the and this idea of like, well, you know, if you can hear it, you know, like you might be able to reproduce it as well. So you know, just try, and she tries, and she does. There's yeah, she can actually yeah. And the thing about, you know, should you not be worried that they're talking to her? And he's like, maybe they're talking to each other, and she just overheard. And then, yeah, by the end of the episode, it's pretty clear they're quite happy to talk to her as well. If nobody, okay, the episode is very new, so it's possible it hasn't happened yet. Somebody has to like add joke subtitles to the two of them talking there at the end of the episode. Let's see. I think I feel like there's at least something else in that first scene. Yeah, the thing about, you know, oh, right, the brother. So technically you work for me. And just, yeah. I think, right, so one of the next things was the, yeah, the terrible secret keeper. Terrible at keeping secrets. The secret unkeeper. Unkeeper, you know, sitting there on the rock, talking to Morrow, today as well. Yeah, holy crap, that, I mean, I'm not sure I said it in one of the other videos. If I did, you know, yeah. Guess this is the second time I'm saying it. So it's not sexual, but like what's going on here is grooming. You know, he's manipulating this, you know, yeah, adult body, but like mind of, you know, was it a 11-year-old? And he knows that. You know, he says, "Oh, you're like children." Yeah, just I really appreciate you, both Morrow and Kirsch. You know, I was thinking about. I don't think I said this in one of the other videos, but I was trying to think about, because like in Legion there are multiple characters that at first appear one way that eventually, you know, you learn something about that really changes how you see them. And so far, I think Morrow and Kirsch are the two best candidates for that. I'm not sure I see them redeeming Cavalier or Yutani. Yeah, I guess it's possible Wendy could also end up one of them. Right. I think it was episode 3. You know, Morrow is confused at the voice he hears and says, "No, I was trying to get in touch with Miss Yutani." And, you know, Yutani says, "Oh, you knew my grandmother." Is that the Yutani from Alien vs. Predator Requiem? I mean, okay, respect for, like, saying that fucking piece of shit movie, you know, is still canon, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's possible that it's just, you know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But yeah, God, that was so fucking creepy. Morrow just... And he knows exactly what he's doing. This is not like, oh, he was friends with him for a while. No, he just got his name, and now he's basically, like, taking his family hostage. Yeah, just... God damn. Because, like, they already are, like... He's done some of the worst things that we've seen, you know, someone in the franchise do in a while. You know, like... But one can also understand, like, he's talking about, like, oh, you know, everything I knew is gone. All I have is the mission. You know, just yeah. I'm not saying they're necessarily going to redeem him. I don't even know if you can uh, really redeem someone who like gets the trust of an 11-year-old and then threatens to kill their family. Just yeah. I don't know if it's doable. I'm not saying the show needs to. I really appreciate having such a complex character that just yeah. Uh, let's see. I think that does bring us nicely to so yeah. Uh, Unkeeper goes back to his room. I think it was his room. And Kirsch was waiting with his back turned, does that dramatic slow turn. I want to do that just once in my life. Have someone enter a room that I'm standing in, do the turn. Of course, with my luck, it'd probably be the wrong person. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was actually expecting this other person. Oh, they're outside. Can you send them in? Oh, fuck. The moment's kind of ruined now, isn't it? Um, and yeah, like this thing of, oh my god. So he talks about the three monkeys, and I'm not actually 100% sure. Is that when he does something or other to listen in on the conversations between Unkeeper and Morrow? But it certainly is an interesting development of that entire situation. But yeah, this thing of like, you know, would you, you know, if I was going to hurt someone, would you stop me? Yeah, it's, you know, obviously in part like a loyalty test. You know, he's he's doing the Trump thing, demanding loyalty when he won't give any himself. I don't know, of course, would give. I just wanted to do a dig at Trump. Uh, let's see. I think. Where's that? Does that bring us to the? Yeah. You know, I really love the line. You know, is this a test? All of adulthood is a test. Ain't that the fucking truth? Jesus Christ. But the yeah, you know, when he says, yeah, I do protect them, good, and then he just leaves. That's yeah. Um, I guess maybe he was already listening in, and that's what he was because like at that point in the episode, it was unclear if Unkeeper would help or not. Um, yeah, I think that pretty well gets us to. So we have the yeah. Uh, fuck. The sheep, I think it is. God damn it. Um, they're doing such a good job on the show of this the creature feature body horror. Jesus Christ, that was fucked. And the way it just like you know when it perceives the you know yeah the eye creature, it's like in distress, and then the eye, you know, takes over, and like it's quite clear it has just taken over, and it just stands completely still just watching. Fuck, that's creepy. I love that because it is like it's not gonna be able to attack, so yeah, it's watching and waiting, you know, because we know it like if it thought it could get at them, it'll try, because we saw that, you know. But yeah, it's just watching, which is it's one of those things. I can never remember. Is maybe gorillas, probably other alpha. Sorry, alpha. whatever the fuck they're called. There are certain animals. Prolonged eye contact is a sign of aggression. It's a male of certain species will perceive it as a challenge to their authority. Yeah, that's where the alpha thing comes in. If they're the alpha, yeah, yeah. It's basically saying, I'm not afraid of you. I'm just waiting. Just like you're gonna get me a magazine. I'm pretty sure even aliens have rights. I guess it's a decent time to say, fuck ICE. The deportations should stop. Maybe deal with, actual criminals. Perhaps start with punishing the ones currently in the White House. Instead of deporting people whose only crime was that they were not able to become legal citizens. A number of them tried, but Republicans have spent years trying to make it as difficult as at all possible to become a legal citizen. And yeah, that means you end up with a country with a bunch of illegal immigrants. And, we're already seeing a lot of people are protesting and saying, hey, these are our friends, our co-workers, this is not... Yeah, you've got the leopards eating my face crowd saying, I thought you were only going to deport the tens of thousands of roving gang members, not these. Sweetie, it's almost like maybe there weren't tens of thousands of roving fucking illegal immigrant gang members in America. But yeah, and now, DC with all the, yeah, Trump being extremely authoritarian, sending in the, all the, yeah, to liberate DC. Which, like, if when Trump says to liberate DC, like, you could just resign. That would be very liberating. Anyway, yeah. So I think that brings us to so yeah. The guy and his wife go to the two scientists. I don't remember if she's a scientist now that I think about it, or if she's like, but yeah. Dame and Arthur, maybe, I think. I can't keep track of all these names. Yeah, they go to a secluded area and, yeah, talk about what they're doing, and he feels really uncomfortable, and she says, we can talk later, I'll make you the food you like. And, he says, we're not even doing science. I hate to say it, technically, like, it's unethical, but what they're doing qualifies as science. I'm willing to admit, I love science. Science has, given us so many amazing things. The world will look completely different, much worse, if not for, scientific progress. I'm willing to admit there's a dark side. Sadly, sometimes science was done very unethically, many times. And yeah, like, I think, yeah, that is what is happening here. But technically, yeah, they are, like, observing, observation. So, oh my God. And then the redhead, who again in the, I think, opening of the episode, boy, does she come close. Oh, I guess, fuck, it's previous, sorry. I seriously respect how the previously on is sort of like, because it's, yeah, like, it's sort of a previously on. Like, there's these little brief clips from previous episodes during the opening bit of each of these episodes, and yeah, that works. Yeah, I think it is the same footage from, but yeah. God, that, boy. I'm okay. I recently rewatched Cronenberg's The Fly. Still one of his best. Do prefer Videodrome. Also watched that recently. But yeah. She thinks she's pregnant, and I'm not 100% sure she's wrong about that. But yeah, I quite appreciate the thing of, like, Dame and Arthur are both, like, aware, they both know this is, 11, 12-year-old in an adult's body with, like, yeah, technically. She, like the rest of the Lost Boys and girls, are goddamn robots. But he just blurts it out, and Dame immediately picks up on, oh, don't say that, because she's got, the emotional intelligence. And to be clear, I'm not doing gender essentialism. I'm talking about socialization. But a lot of women are better at emotional intelligence than men. And yeah, let's you know what? Let's talk just you know just the two of us, and you can explain. And yeah, the thing about, so do you know where babies come from? Please tell me that eventually education was improved from the sad state that Republicans brought it to. But yeah, the thing, she says, God does it, and then there's the thing about, well, I mean, there's also a biological element to it, and she is like, I grew up on a farm, and yeah, um, and she points out, well, Jesus didn't, his mommy didn't need to, do the naked nasty, and yeah, that line is burned into my brain. What can I say? Um, Make it with the naked nasty, I think, was the exact, yeah, verbatim. Yeah. Uh, she keeps, because, like, okay, so once again, there's some coding going on, but also, like, is she pregnant with the offspring of the eye parasite thing? Because, and yeah, there by the end, she says, what was it, like, stage 3 or something. We don't know yet if that means, infection. The yeah. I mean, are they gonna go code red, or does it mean, she's out of control? And it is, we've known for, since the first episode, they are much stronger than humans. So yeah, it's, that leap, and then she's right there, and Dame manages to de-escalate. But yeah, that was really, really tense. Holy shit. Um, and let's see, I think, does that bring us to the, yeah, very clever thing of, you know what, I'll make us some tea. I am never trusting someone who says they're going to make me tea again. But I don't live in England, so it really doesn't happen very often. But yeah, very clever. She's got the little button, and then, the guards come up, and she's like, I forgot. Which is a very clever, I quite like when media has this sort of thing of, like, when someone is not as physically strong as someone they're dealing with, so they have, like, some sort of backup, send backup. Yeah, plan B, which would have kept her from getting pregnant. But yeah, I think there is a very serious chance. I really appreciate that they're playing the cards close to the chest, because, like, at this point, I really do feel like it could turn out to just be that she thought it, because the thing got so close, but that it is just, because again, we don't know how trauma affects the synths. You know, they're brand spanking new. We do not know how so it is possible that this is just because she had one of the most traumatic experiences. I I appreciate finding out. So it was, yeah, the lung, and it was Joe's. I was slightly unclear. I was thinking maybe they cut up some, you know, yeah, person that just, because like at this point I really wouldn't put it past them. But no, it was his, and apparently it was damaged, and they got him a new one. Yeah. Let's see. I think what is left? Let's see. So there's the we still haven't seen the Venus flytrap in action. But the thing about, I want an egg. They don't have eggs. Where are you from? That's pretty funny. That's a funny line. Yeah, Morrow didn't realize he was going to have to be that specific. But yeah, and first he says, steal an egg, and there's can't or won't. So it's treason then. And then he says, pick someone, get them close to an egg, and just find a place for them to be safe for a few days, and that's all I need from you. I'll call you again in 24 hours. 20... A day. I mean, a day. I'll call, that's, yeah. Also coded, this thing of having to be very specific in communication. To be clear, I'm not laughing at people on the autistic spectrum. It's, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just, you get used to it when you talk to them. Anyway, I think that might, it's like, yeah, I'm not laughing at them. It's like how you laugh when you think of how, a loved one has this habit that's like, that sort of thing. Not that I'm saying that they can help it. I think that pretty well brings us to, yeah, the thing about, yeah, Cavalier. Gah. I'm torn because on the one hand, I really appreciate them, delivering all these really salient, relevant, points, commentary about, these tech bros. On the other hand, God, I fucking hate his character, but that's what I'm supposed to. That's the idea here. Yeah, when he, he's like, so you, the lung you have, that's actually, that's ours. Do you hear the trilling? Maybe. Don't say what I want to hear. Tell me the truth. Oh, see? You're not as good as her. Like, God, this asshole. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, the thing with can I change my name? You want to discuss this now? and yeah, he gets to be Isaac. I will say at first I thought he was talking about like Asimov, not Newton. I did like the thing about that old scientist. I mean, yeah, that's one way to put it. Because like to an 11 or 12-year-old, and again coded, that's how you might put it. I think does that bring us? Let's see. So then we have. What's the other thing? Yeah. That is something I do feel I know enough about trans people to say. You know, if you're doing a trans reading of the synths, you know, yeah, I've heard many a trans person say that getting to choose their name was a really big thing for them in transition, and you do also see how happy he is. Yeah, so Unkeeper comes by and he's like, oh yeah, I was just getting something in the lab for Arthur. Oh, so what are you getting? I'm getting stuff and things. And meanwhile, Isaac's like, okay, sure. Wanna come play? Again, you know, kid stuff and coded. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I think that does cover almost everything. Let's see. There's yeah, the thing with you know, Wendy showing her room to which, like, again, you know, sibling thing, kid thing, and coded, and you know, she like kicks away a stuffed animal, and just, you know, I've been doing a lot of drawing, and you know, he sees the drawing of her holding up the others, and yeah, them talking about it, and you know, this thing of like, if there had been a way, I promise I would have come see you in the hospital, you know. And I think, does that more or less bring us to I don't have much more to say about the very ending. I love how it's like very King Cobra. We haven't really seen a chest burster be like that before, but they did a really great job. And it's also just like, we've never seen one in this situation before, because it's like, what, kind of feel uncomfortable around you, but I don't want to eat you because your body's weird. Um, yeah, it's like, you know, okay, stay the fuck away from me, but I can't eat you, and I don't quite know where to go in this room. Should have put a better signage. And it ends up being comforted by her speaking to it and caressing it. Yeah, like little bit reminiscent of, I can never remember which version, but one of the two versions. Yeah, I guess I'm okay. So I'm spoiling whichever version that is. I realize not everybody's watched that version. One of the versions of Alien 3, Ripley like holds the, you know, it bursts out of her chest there at the end as she's jumping in, and then she like puts her arms around it in a not entirely unmotherly way, you know. That was what it reminded me of. So yeah, very very nicely done. A good callback. That was one of the better parts of that version of that movie. Either version of that movie, really. I think. What was the other thing? Yeah, I think that covers the very ending. Boy, am I not eager. Just holy shit. I would not put it past this show and this franchise, Noah Hawley, to actually, god damn it, to have Unkeeper trick Joe near an egg. Because he doesn't like him, you know, and someone has to, and has to be a person, can't be a synth. I'm not sure you sacrifice any of the synths, but it's not founder of the Joe fan club. What's the other thing? There was at least one other thing. God damn it. The other thing. So there's obviously the scene with the. Yeah, I think. Okay, so. Yeah. Unkeeper goes, and all of the lost. Not all. Several of the Lost Boys are, yeah, hanging out, and Joe's there, and I quite like this conversation about, we can learn things. I'm learning this thing and that thing to be a good scientist, and the I guess that does pretty well bring us to so yeah. Unkeeper shows up, and he's like, "Why is he here?" And I like the thing, Wendy's right that he's being rude, but he does make a point. It's even like, okay, so for now Joe is here. Fairness is like, and he's also thinking, if my brothers were here and my mom, Morrow wouldn't be threatening my family. So just, yeah. And the thing about, why are you in charge? I'm oldest. Well, there's others that are 12 years old, so just, yeah. And oh god. All I'm saying is, Joe, the character you played on Andor, is very disappointed in how you lay out the history of democracy and such. But yeah, I mean it's the Starship Troopers, Loki kind of, the conquerors claiming we had to come in. The old system didn't work, so instead of democracy now there's the five, which shit, I think oligarchy is the term when it's yeah. And yeah, it's brought up again about Yutani wants the aliens. And let's see, we have the Joe talking to the saying that he's not going to stay. And then he's told, well, then you can't see your sister ever again. You'd have to pay off the or you will have to pay off, just either you work for us or you can go home. But yeah, that lung is very expensive. And that thing about, is it true that you put Marcy's mind in this body? Well, so it's Marcy. And, there's the point about, those are two different questions, because, yeah, like, where, like, it's that existentialist thing that, yeah, like, if you put the brain, the memories, the sense of humor of a person into a robot body, is that robot the person? Are we our brains or are we our bodies? And yeah, I think they're doing a really solid job exploring this thing, because like that's part of the idea behind having Joe meet Wendy and spend time with her, because like, yeah, it's they could easily have had it that, oh, she remembers but her personality is different, and then we'd be like, it's not Marcy then, it's different, something happened. But she is more or less acting the same. Again, it is this thing of like, well, is, you know, how much is it affecting her, the, you know, being so close to the xenomorph? You know, she was attacked. And, you know, how much is it just the fact that, you know, it's the synth body? You know, maybe even without being attacked, it might have happened, you know, but yeah, we don't know for sure. But yeah, you know, that is like, it's already been talked about that, you know, I mean, rich people already abuse their staff and treat, you know, a lot of people. I'm extremely fortunate to never, it's never happened to me, but a lot of people by their boss have been treated as basically just, you know, what was that extremely dehumanizing term? I think human capital or something like that. You know, they just, yeah, they see us as objects. They see us as something they can exploit. And yeah, I mean, in the future with, you know, these kinds of like, yeah, with implants, it's going to get even worse. And it is already, you know, they're also touching on like medical debt here. You know, the lung that they gave him was expensive, as if he had a choice in the matter. Like, it's not like he got some kind of, you know, elective surgery. No, this was like life or death. And yeah, you know, yeah. Let's see. Cavalier talks to Wendy. And then he says, and see, this is again, you know, oligarchy and like dictatorship and sort of thing, you know, they will use lies to manipulate people, to better control them, to maintain and increase their power. And this motherfucker is saying that Joe just didn't care. Like, oh, you know, oh, I just can't go with it. God, this fucking asshole. Jesus Christ. But yeah, ultimately he does at least agree, you know. There's the you know, the conversation, and then, you know, she holds up the smallest of her fingers, and you know, okay, so Joe can stay. Cavalier Pinky promised, I don't think he's honest.